Hi and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. This time around I'm doing movie hauls. These are movies that I've picked up over the last month. Some of them I paid full price for, some of them I got cheaply in op shops and markets. But there's a lot of stuff here and I better get started, and I'll start with the 4Ks I've bought in the last month. I got a couple of deals from JB Hi-Fi where I got these quite cheaply, and particularly the classic films that Warner Brothers put out are being released for their 100th anniversary in 4K format, and I really enjoy that. So the first one I got was Rio Bravo. Rio Bravo I love. Howard Hawks Western, Dean Martin, John Wayne, Ricky Nelson, Angie Dickinson, Walter Brennan. It's a classic, and it was Howard Hawks' response to High Noon, which was all about the sheriff played by Gary Cooper trying to get townspeople to help him when three gunslingers come to town. Howard Hawks' idea was that professionals need to do law enforcement and not amateur recruits. Beautiful in 4K with the HDR. It was a great film in spite of the fact that John Wayne and Walter Brennan were right-wing nut jobs. I enjoyed rewatching it the other day, and it's just one of those classic, satisfying westerns. Next one I've got, which I haven't rewatched yet, is East of Eden with Julie Harris and James Dean, based on the John Steinbeck novel, and I'm a big Steinbeck fan. Directed by Elia Kazan, who of course named names during the House Un-American Activities Committee, but in spite of that I like the film. Beautifully shot in widescreen. Terrific supporting cast. Joe Van Fleet playing the protagonist Cal's mother is really interesting in this. Raymond Massey playing his father is quite good in it as well. I just love this movie. I think it's one of the great Steinbeck adaptations. I should put it near the 4K player so I can watch it soon, because I think I'm in the mood for a big widescreen classic film from the late 1950s like East of Eden. The last one I saw in the cinemas when it came out. Directed by Robert Clouse, starring Bruce Lee, John Saxon and Jim Kelly, Enter the Dragon. I've already got a Blu-ray edition of this one, but I wanted to get the 4K because it was dead cheap and I got a buy two get one free deal, so this ended up costing me about $15. Again, it's got HDR in it. Great to rewatch. It's an old school adventure movie at its core, and it's slightly self-conscious in some ways, but just seeing Bruce Lee and John Saxon and Jim Kelly going to Hans Island and saving the day and rescuing all of the people that are trapped there and fighting an army of martial artists, including Jackie Chan as one of the extras. Enter the Dragon is really there for me. Lalo Schifrin's soundtrack is fantastic. The shots around Hong Kong are wonderful. The martial arts is shot beautifully. Nothing not to love about that. So there's the 4Ks I got. Next up I have the Blu-Rays I paid full price for. I got this one on spec because a few people have told me it's good. Horror movie from, I think, 2023. Black Phone with Ethan Hawke. Directed by Scott Derrickson, who's always good value. A modern horror classic, it says on the back. Know little about it. I've seen the trailer where Ethan Hawke kidnaps a kid and communicates with him on a black telephone. It's set, I think, in the 1980s. But I bought that one on spec. Again, I got it quite cheaply because there was a deal at the time. But I think it's worth getting. And while I'm on horror movies, I've got this one as well. Again, a lot of people recommend things to me, either directly or indirectly. And this one I got because I want to keep up on a current horror. I think that there's a tendency when you've seen a lot of movies in the past to not keep up with the current state of the art in some genres. But I'm inclined to try to stay up and stay current with the state of the art in horror. Smile. Now, this one says, after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter, played by Sosie Bacon, starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins taking over her life, she must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. I'm there for that. I like good modern horror, and I think I'm going to enjoy this one as well. So they're the ones I got on spec. Then I went on a bit of a binge to get some Zhang Shi movies, Chinese Hopping Vampires, because I like Chinese Hopping Vampires. I've already got this on DVD, but it's a slightly dodgy DVD transfer of it, so I went out and got Mr. Vampire from the 1980s, filmed by Ricky Lau from 1985. It is Hong Kong Kung Fu Hopping Vampire movie. Really love that. I've seen it before and I've enjoyed it, and when I'm in the mood to just sit down with the popcorn and maybe a beverage, I'm going to enjoy watching Mr. Vampire. And there are a ton of Blu-ray extras on this. It's a 1080p presentation from a brand new 2K restoration, which is great. Original Cantonese audio and with English dub track if you want to go that way, but I don't. I'm going to watch the movie with the original Chinese soundtrack and subtitles. Tons of audio commentaries and things like that. Really nice presentation from Eureka. Happy I've got that one. So then I also got Hopping Mad, the Mr. Vampire sequels, where there are 4 sequels to Mr. Vampire. I don't know how good they are. I know my friends Julia and Lucy have been going through this and enjoyed it. So I decided to pick it up. Chinese hopping vampires are always in my wheelhouse. In fact, I've got the 4 rare Funko Pop figures of 4 different Chinese hopping vampires, Zhangshi, and they're starting to become crazily valuable. And then this one, I've watched the first movie of, but I haven't watched the other 2. It's a Japanese gangster trilogy from the 1970s called the Game Trilogy. And I've already watched Most Dangerous Game. And that one's very much in the style of the Street Fighter movies with Sonny Chiba, but a little more updated and a little more slick 1970s. And the movie stars Yusaku Masuda, an actor who was a kind of Japanese Bruce Lee kind of figure, very ripped, very tough kind of actor. Unfortunately, his career got cut short because he got cancer at the age of 40. He made his Hollywood debut in Ridley Scott's Black Rain, and then unfortunately he died. But these films are crazy good exploitation films. The first one I watched, the second one, The Killing Game and The Execution Game, I haven't watched yet, but I'm inclined to move these to the top of the list because they're solid Tokyo set action films where Masuda plays a hitman for hire, and he is as ruthless as Tsurugi, the character played by Sonny Chiba in the Street Fighter movies, but in a very different way. A lot of fun, and I really like the fact that Arrow put this one out and introduced me to it. I really recommend these. Now we're moving on to the Blu-rays I got very cheaply. Most of these I got for $1 or $2. Now I'm collecting these because I'm going to do a 24-hour movie marathon where I watch all of the Fast and Furious movies. So I've got the Fast and the Furious so far. Fast and Furious, because I have no imagination when it comes to titling these movies. And Too Fast, Too Furious. I've got 1 or 2 others that I bought previously, but I'm collecting them because I'm going to watch all 10 movies back to back because I've crunched the numbers and I can do it in 24 hours. So I thought I'd do that as a bit of a stunt thing. Every year I do a 24-hour movie marathon and do a video for that. So that's what it's going to be this time around, the Fast and Furious movies. The other Blu-rays I've got, and these again, $1 or $2, at the most I paid $4. Didn't have a copy of this Edgar Wright movie, but I thought I should. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World with Michael Cera. Beautifully kinetic, fun movie based on the comic book series. Haven't watched this one in a while. I don't remember being particularly impressed with it, but I'm going to give this one another go. And I saw it for $2 in a trash and treasure market, and I picked it up from my usual provider at that market. Then I went to an op shop and I didn't have this, so I thought I'd get it anyway because it was, again, $2. Venom with Tom Hardy. It's the first one, not the second one. It's from Sony's Spider-Man spin-off series, where Sony has the rights to a number of Spider-Man villains, and Venom being one of them. Kraven the Hunter's coming up soon. But I thought I'd pick up that one for a couple of bucks, and I did. And yeah, in fact, there's a sticker on the back that says $2. So I got that at a Salvation Army charity store. Not the best movie, but I'm kind of glad I had it. This one's in the Conjuring series, and I thought I'd start by getting like the 5th movie in the series, Annabelle Creation. Another modern horror movie, and again I'm trying to keep up with modern horror, and I can't just keep watching Jacques Tourneur movies for the rest of my life. So I'm going to have to watch a few others before I get to this one, but I got this one for $1. Now, middle-aged geek girl loves shark movies, so I picked this one up, which I believe is filmed here in Australia. A thing called The Reef. Whole bunch of people getting eaten by sharks. That's all you need to know. Know nothing about it, but we're going to watch it and enjoy it, hopefully. It says the scariest shark thriller since Jaws. Always like ambitious blurbs like that in a movie. So we're going to check that one out. Now, I've got a couple of DC animated original movies, and I picked these up for $1 from Laverton Trash and Treasure Market. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. All these DC animated superhero movies have great animation in them. Going to check that one out. Got this one, Son of Batman, again for $1. There's a whole bunch of extras on these as well. I'm not going to go through them. I like the fact that people are getting rid of these so I can get them, because I do enjoy the DC animated films. This one I picked up for $3. Inferno, Tom Hanks playing that guy who solves mysteries and things. Bit of an action flick. Haven't seen this one, so I thought I'd give it a go. And again, for $1. And I also got this one for $1. Fast and Furious 5, so I'm eventually going to get all of those Fast and Furious movies so I can do my 24-hour movie marathon. On to the DVDs I got. Bloodshot, Vin Diesel, superhero movie based on the Valiant Comics character. This one got lost because it hit the theatres just as the pandemic hit. It's very much a B-grade superhero movie. Vin Diesel plays a special forces guy called Ray Garrison who gets resurrected using nanotechnology and nanobots, and he becomes a weapon for a corporation. Now, Guy Pearce is in here playing one of the villains. Isaac Gonzalez as well. Really good kind of B superhero-y thing, and something a little bit different for Vin Diesel because it's not quite Riddick and it's definitely not Dom Toretto. Now, I remember enjoying the movie when I saw it when it first came out on streaming, so for $1 I picked it up. Already talked about one of these 3 movies. Somebody for some reason did a Sean William Scott 3-movie collection: Evolution, Bulletproof Monk, and Welcome to the Jungle with The Rock, as he was known then. Evolution I talked about last weekend on the channel. Got these 3 for a couple of bucks at an op shop, and I wanted to revisit Evolution, so good deal. This is a 1970s version of an adaptation of a John Buchan novel, this time around with Robert Powell, David Warner, Eric Porter, Karen Detrice and John Mills. The 39 Steps. Now, this isn't the best version because the best version is the Robert Donat one from the 1930s that Hitchcock directed, but I thought I'd pick that one up for a buck. Even though this is an older DVD, it's in the right aspect ratio, and I've been bitten a few times by movies on DVD that are suddenly in Academy ratio because they were adapted to television. This one, I believe, is somewhat racist, based on a Michael Crichton novel. Rising Sun, with Wesley Snipes, Sean Connery, solid action film, directed by Philip Kaufman, who's a director I have a lot of time for. But I thought I'd revisit that one. And again, for $1, I'm going to give it a go. While we're on the subject of Hitchcock, I got this 10-movie Hitchcock thing. These things 20 years ago were all over the place, and they were all like $3 or $4. It's got Murder from 1930, Skin Game from 1931, and Rich and Strange from 1931. Number 17 from 1932. The Man Who Knew Too Much, the original 1934 version. The 39 Steps, that 1935 version with Robert Donat. A Secret Agent from 1936 with Peter Lorre and John Gielgud in it. Sabotage from 1936, which I like a lot. The Lady Vanishes from 1938 and Jamaica Inn from 1939. All classic old Hitchcock movies. I don't know how good the quality is. We'll soon find out. Also got Cat Ballou, Lee Marvin, Jane Fonda, fantastic Western comedy. You've got Nat King Cole and Stubby Kaye playing the kind of leitmotif chorus to the movie. Lee Marvin having a lot of fun playing a drunk, which was not a stretch for him, but he did it very well. A movie I've really enjoyed every time I watched it, so I didn't have a copy of it. I checked my database when I went in, and I got this for $2. Happy I got it. The only other thing I got is Joss Whedon's Firefly. Didn't have a real copy of it, and I picked this one up for a couple of bucks. The less said about Joss Whedon, the better, but I liked the series, and I think it had potential, and I didn't have a physical copy of it, so got this from one of the local Salvation Army op shops. So that's it. That's the hauls I've got lately. Tons of movies to watch there. Some I've seen before, some I haven't. Some I'm really glad I got, some I've got on spec. If I don't pick them up now, when am I going to pick them up? So that's it for this time around. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, and there's a link to how to do that in the description of the video. Or you can support the channel by donating at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. Lots of things upcoming. Science Fiction Saturday coming up soon. I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch some Cat Ballou, and I'll catch you next time.